So hopefully I'm actually live for the first time ever. Just gonna check this. Alright guys, so gone to the wrong bit straight away. Cheap Studio. Content live. That. Says I'm live. Alright, cool. So it seems like it's working for the first time ever. So forgive what's going on the screen. If somebody's okay, if you're on it, stick something in the chat box so I can see where it pops up, because I don't know if it's going to go onto my recording software, which is in front of me, or if it's going to go in the chat on YouTube, and if it's going to be filtered or not, or if it's going to pop up. So 3 screens, seeing what's working, but we'll jump into my chart in a second. But I just want to see, is the visual okay on the chart, and is the sound okay? Sound and screen, awesome. Thank you, Francois. Hello, bub. Nice to see you back. Cheers, pal. But yeah, I was determined to try and get some sort of streaming sorted. But I've just spent about, I don't know, 2 hours messing around with the sound, because I'm just using the MacBook, everything. MacBook camera and audio. So I've got my actual microphone somewhere, not in front of me. Hello, hi Breaker Online, Ian, Roynek, Francois. So yeah, I think what I'll probably try to do, because I'm getting a little bit more regularity with my time now, a lot more of my time is becoming my time. So unlike the last year, which has been diabolical, so I will try to live stream the London breakout. Won't be doing the actual breakout, but the London session. Can probably do that 3 days a week, and then possibly the New York session for those days as well, but it really does vary. But ideally, I'll do some of my mentoring things with the private mentoring group just live on YouTube. So that'll be quite cool. Very, very different. Never done anything like it before, so it would just be a learning curve, a learning experience. And sorry about the color as well. I look green. I can change my color. Red. Green. Purple. Look like I've got diseases. Let's try and get something normal. That's better. That. All right, cool. So yeah, I've got my YouTube one up. Let's just have a look at my FTR one. So I'll talk through what I'm doing in a second. I'll tell you what, I'll change it for YouTube one and just do fresh markups. So, lekker brew. Lekker, I'm not sure what that means. Oh, thanks. Thanks, mate. Nico from South Africa. Yeah, the requirements for the small mentoring group, like if you're in FTR already, you know, when I do launch the actual mentoring bit, everybody who's already in FTR is going to get it just as part of what they're paying for. But when I launch it out to the public, it will be quite significantly more than what everyone's already paying, just because it's really, really time consuming of me and 2 other people, and possibly others if I bring them in. But right now I have a very small private mentoring group, which is 6 or 7 people, and they're not traders. It's like the other day was the first time that they've ever even seen TradingView. So these people who I know personally, who I just want to give back in life because they've helped me a lot over the last couple of years. So I want to try and teach them how to be self-sustainable and not have to have a job. So they know that they're guinea pigs and they're cool with it as well. But I'm going through the absolute raw basics of trading through to how to trade like I do, but without them having to go through everything which I did and what most of, well, everyone else goes through. So, you know, they don't have to look at baby pips. They don't have to go and look at other YouTube channels. They don't have to look at all random stuff on YouTube and Instagram. They just go straight and narrow. It's like, right, okay, this is what a candlestick is. These are the patterns that I look for. This is what supply and demand is. This is how liquidity works. This is why the market moves the way that it does. They don't have to learn head and shoulders, channels, any of the patterns, cup and handle, silly stuff like that. They learn only FTR, and therefore they're not going to be distracted. They're not going to have a second thought to take a trade. They should be a bit like, bit of a silly example, but they should be like soldiers when they're finished. So I know when you join the army, they try to break you as a person a lot of the time, depends which part you're going into, but they'll try and break your personality. So that's what I'm going to do with them, but not break them, but I'm just going to steer them away from any other sort of, unlearning that they have to go through. So it should be ideal. Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, my health is improving, luckily. Like, I'm able to sit down and move up like that. Like, a month ago, not even a month ago, I found out that I broke my back. That was a bit difficult to take. Slip disc, ripped the disc. I didn't know you could rip your disc. Fractured L1, I want to say, in my spine. And the sciatic nerve, that was the most painful bit. Like, trapped sciatic nerve, it's still trapped. Half my foot is still numb. But I'm getting used to it. But I just can't bend. Yeah, no worries, Francois, man. I'll catch you in a bit. Just reading Breaker Online. Can you briefly explain what we should pay attention to when backtesting? Yeah. Let's just do like a brief bit, if that works with you. Like, I was going to do chart markups, but we'll just go back and do a tiny bit of backtesting, Yeah, let's just do that. I'll go back to the start of the, yeah, there we go, done it. Start of the year, we'll go bar replay, just for the sake of it. The aim is just to follow a set of rules. So let's write out our rules to begin with. Ooh. Oh, can I just check as well? Can you guys hear me typing? Could you hear that? Hopefully not. But yeah, what we'll do is we'll type out the rules of what it is which we're trying to... Oh, cool. Okay, very slight. That's all right. We'll type out the rules for backtesting. So this is just essentially... Oh, good. Okay, brilliant. 2 people say no. Very slight for Roynek. Yeah, so with backtesting, with everything, like whenever I get a new idea of something which usually something that I've seen several times on the charts, and it's like I'm always getting caught out by that, or I just don't really like this sort of pattern. I try to just go back and find that multiple times. So I'll go back to the start of the charts and I'll just click through, just looking for that pattern and see what direction the market goes from, where it has come from, where does it lead to, just so I can gather enough information from it. And then you usually put it into a spreadsheet. So I used to use Excel, now I use Google Sheets, now I use Notion. Probably going to go back to Google Sheets to be fair. But yeah, we're just going to type out the rules at the moment. So what we'll do on this one, just because it's quite easy, we're going to look at H4 POIs only. And we are going to look for chalk on the 15. So and within chalk on the 15, we want to get in on the order block. If 2 OBs visible, we combine. So instead of us taking separate order blocks, we're just going to stick them down as one. So we had something happen earlier today. There was a 4-hour order block on EU. There were 2 15-minute order blocks. So there was a 15-minute on the bottom. Then there was a gap in the middle. And then there was a 15-minute order block on the top. And I didn't place on either. I just took a trade off the 1 minute in the middle. I got stopped out in the end, but essentially I was combining it, taking the whole of the H4 as what I wanted to do, but tried to get like a scalp entry to try to get like a 1 to whatever it was, 35-ish or 1 to 40, something like that. Anyway, it didn't work out. It went to 1 to 2 and then it took me out. So, but yeah, so we'll just do that. So H4POIs, oh yeah, and target. All right, so SL is 0.5 beyond OB. Oops. And then TP is, we'll do next H4. Oops, H4. SD, oh bloody hell, right, SD. So they're going to be our rules. I'll make this a little bit bigger. So really, really simple, really, really easy. And this is all how you test any strategy. Set of rules, spreadsheet. I don't have a spreadsheet up. Oh, damn, has the picture quality gone? Okay, let me see how I can do that. Because it's the first time I've ever streamed. Bear with me a second. I'm just going to see if I can edit bits of it. Stream settings. I think it's the latency and I can't alter it. Damn. Because it's live, I can't alter the latency. But if I go and then come back, I can alter the latency. I think the latency, from what I've just listened to, affects the stream quality, but it makes it faster. So at the moment, there's about a 2-second delay. So I can see live when I look forwards, but if I look right, yeah, it's totally weird. There is a delay. But if I do like normal latency, there'll be like a 15-second delay. Not like it matters, to be fair, but it should improve the quality. Yeah, could I just have a real quick, for everybody, can you see a clear chart? I'm going to swish the chart around a little bit, so make it move. If it goes blurry, can you just let me know in the comments? Would that be all right? So I'm just going to do that now. To see if that's messed it up and made it all fuzzy, including me. So the comments are to my right. Not blurry. Okay, cool. All right. For you, it's fine. No, all good. It's clear. All right, superb. If it does go blurry, it's possibly because my internet speed out here in mid Wales is beyond shit. It's like dial up from the 90s. It's not shit, but it's like it's 10 megabytes upload, I think. So it's like it's really slow compared to what I'm used to. But I might try and stream from my phone. Yeah, the valleys. Yeah, basically. Can I show my live account statistics? No. But yeah, the valleys. I live pretty much near the valleys. So I live about half an hour away from a place called Lake Fermley, which is really nice, which is like a big, what do you call it? It's like a dam, like a reservoir. I love going there to just try and chill out. So yeah, it's really good. Yeah, sorry, Alex. So the reason for that is I hadn't taken all of my recordings, which is frustrating. So I only said that earlier when I was doing like a live stream in the group that probably the last 5 or 6 months has been really, really poor for me tracking all of my trades. And the only things which I've got is actually my broker feed, which I'm not comfortable showing. So, you know, I logged my first trade today in about 6 weeks, which is really, really poor. So what I used to have was about 60 columns on a spreadsheet, which would be, you know, all the trade confluences in how I trade, but I've narrowed it down to about 12 columns, and it only took me about a minute to log the trade. So I should be able to go back over all the trades which I've done over the last probably 5 or 6 months, hopefully, and put them all into the spreadsheet. So it shouldn't be an issue. A little bit fuzzy. Yeah, it's probably the internet speed. What I'll do with the next one is I'll change the latency and I'll just test with that. I'll change it from ultra low to low, then possibly from low to normal, and I'll give that a go. But yeah, basically with the account stats, I'll do it, but it will be from a spreadsheet. So the difficulty with that is, do you believe it or not? You will do, because it's got a shitload of losses in there. And, I'm not afraid to show that I lose a lot. The strategy itself has about a 25 to 28-ish% win rate, but my win rate has been less over the last 6 months, and that's a lot of outside factors outside the charts. So, it's a little bit, I don't know, I feel a bit embarrassed by it sometimes, but at the same time, I'm not a robot, I'm just human. So everybody makes mistakes, and I've made quite a few. But yeah, what we'll do at the moment then is we'll just go through, I think this was it? Who asked this? I can't remember. I can't find it. Breaker Online. Yeah, no worries. Like, yeah, no, it's, was it June? It might have been June. I had like 25 losing trades in a month. I had probably 3 winning trades. And a lot of that is, say, for example, right now, it'd be like, right, okay, I'll jump on the charts right now and I'll try to force a trade because I haven't traded for the day. I'll sit down and go, right, okay, is there an order block there? No, but does it look okay? Yeah, it looks good. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set that. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to set a target out in the distance and walk away, because that's all what I could do. I had literally no time. So naturally, what it did every single time, come down, get me in, look good for a little bit, bang, take me out. And I just had no time whatsoever, and it sucked. I wanted to be able to trade properly, and the main thing is like, I think I said this in the group actually the other day, the difference between a good trader and a great trader is a great trader knows when to sit out, and I didn't. So, it's just like, it sucks. But my time is becoming my time a little bit more now, so I should have a little bit more time available. Anyway, let's jump into a little bit of backtesting just to go through this stuff. So H4, what do we do? First of all, what do we do? What is supply and demand? So the point of interest is essentially we want to try to find some imbalance available in the market, and we want to try and find the opposite candles. So realistically, where is price going to be bouncing from? If we can find, you don't have to have imbalance, but it's advisable that you do. If you don't have imbalance, it's usually going to be a counter trend move. So if there is imbalance, that's pro trend. If there is no imbalance and everything's been mitigated or it's been rebalanced, then I tend to find that whenever price comes back to it, it shoots straight through. I don't know how many people in here are in FTR or not, but there's a concept which I don't think I've mentioned on YouTube before called curved liquidity. It's not actually curved, like, it's just what I call it because it looks curved on the chart. So what I mean by that is, I don't know if you can see my favorites, there we go, curved liquidity. Like, this looks, it just looks curved on the chart, but all what it is that it's being rebalanced. That little blue one has been rebalanced by this blue one. This has all rebalanced, okay? So it just looks curved on the chart. And usually what you get is when it starts coming back down, it just crashes straight through there within, 1 or 2 candles. It's really, really aggressive. So whenever I see curved liquidity, I'll mark it on, and I'll just leave it until we get to it again in the future. So what I'll do initially is I will literally just try and find something which is unmitigated. Here we go, down here. Doesn't look great, but this is going to be the first point of interest which we've got. So that's an H4. There's another one down here. There's probably going to be others as well. Like, I was going to ask somebody within FTR to, I want to do the back testing for the whole of the year. So in 2022, I think the only week which didn't draw profit from the strategy was actually the last week of the year when you shouldn't be trading anyway. But I thought we were going to get a whole year of profit, and we didn't. But that's what the strategy gives. It's not necessarily what an individual is going to get, because you just can't take all the trades because life. So I want to do this year, literally from the start of January through till now, but I want somebody else to check my results for me to make sure that they've got the same, and just make sure that everything's valid. Because if so, then I can publish all of those results, which would be really cool. But hand on heart, I think it's probably, well, the thing is, I don't know any other strategies. So I could say it's the best in the world, but that's only because it gives, you know, anywhere between sort of, if you risk 1% of your account per trade, it gives anywhere between sort of 5% and about 35 to 50% in a week. So it's pretty good per pair, you know, and I'm just talking Euro USD at the moment. So right now I'm literally just going through and I'm trying to find stuff which is kind of unmitigated, opposite candles, anything which looks like there's a little bit of interaction going on. Like, I'm not really a fan of this, but the only reason why there's a little bit of interest in this area is, I don't need that, support and resistance with the rest of it over there. So this area is a little bit interesting potentially, but I don't need loads. I don't need loads on the chart. We will do that. Oh, by the way, I was going to say as well about like the trading results and stuff. I'm not afraid to talk about what my results are like, because they're not always good. Sometimes they're amazing. Sometimes they're ultra shit. But I don't like it when, like, the reason why I made the YouTube channel originally was to start of lockdown. Like, I just figured out how to trade the London Open, and I wanted to stop people getting scammed, because I knew that loads of people would be made redundant, they'd be taken out of work, and I knew that they'd be contacted on like Instagram, YouTube, if you can contact people on there, what else, TikTok and things like that, Facebook, etc., saying, oh, you know, hand your money over to me, I'm an account manager, I do this and I do that with trading. I didn't want people to do that. I wanted them to be able to trade for themselves and just make profit off it that way. But you see so many, and it's not to kick back at anybody in particular on YouTube, but you know what I mean, when there's just so much bullshit out there. And they're usually the ones who have like the brilliant setups, like not just like, you know, not trading setups, but they're in like quality looking rooms and it's clearly a studio, and you just think they're just marketers. And I get it. Like, I ran a marketing business once. I was shite at it. That's why I had to hire people to do it for me. But you can spot them a mile off, but they'll never ever give you an honest result. Whereas I want to, but I don't. A mistake which I made probably about 3 months into starting off the channel was that I showed my account on YouTube, and then I did it again about 4 months later on Instagram. And it's not just the account. I don't really care about showing off the balance. It's the account number. So the account number normally sits out up here on CTrader, which is what I use. And I came to my account, my trading account, it was empty. And I was like, the fuck? And then also with my bank account, it was 2 days before Christmas in 2018, maybe 2018. So it was the 23rd of December, and I had about 14 grand in my account, and I went and looked, and it was down to about 500, and I was just like, it felt so like violating. So luckily the bank put it straight back in within. I went in, spoke to them and said, what the hell is this? And there were transactions taken out of my account, huge sums. And even though the police couldn't do anything to chase it, I noticed that they ordered a pizza. So they ordered a load of furniture online. Yeah, they just bought furniture, which was ridiculous. And they ordered, it was like a Domino's or something like that. And the only traceability of it was the actual reference number. So I phoned Domino's or whoever it was, and I said, oh, look, you know, I ordered this pizza a couple of weeks ago, but I never received it. Where did you send it to? And they told me where they sent it to. Police, bang, 5 years in prison. Nice. But yeah, that's why I don't like showing the account. But I'm happy to show you like every result and stuff. I'll try and I wonder if there's got to be a way. I'll find a way to cover up like the account number, and I could just show you like the trades and stuff. That's all right. If that's okay with you. I think so, Alex. Yeah, it should be on YouTube later. I think because this is classed as, yeah, because it's live, like you guys are talking to me, I think that it just stays on unless I take it down, but I don't want to, realistically. I'd like to just keep it on because even though it's not quality, like I don't have like loads of stuff going across the screen, like I'd like to try and figure out like a nice, what do you call it, like a skin, like a nice background for it. But that will come in time, you know. So let's see. Wow, I'm just looking at the analytics of this stream. Surprised, 81 views, 27 viewers, like 8 likes. That's impressive. Wasn't expecting anything, because oddly on YouTube I got into like a good routine. I was doing like a video a week about this time last year, maybe 2 videos a week. Then something drastic in my life changed in December, and I recorded a video at the start of December or maybe late November, and I forgot about it until April or May, and that's when I published it. So that one went viral, which was really awesome, but I just wasn't in a position where I could capitalize on it. And since then, I think I've only made 2 videos, so 2 videos in 12 months. So this is probably the first time anybody who is a subscriber has seen me for like a year. But it's probably the best way for me to be able to just talk to people on a regular basis, because at the end of the day, trading is boring and it's lonely, and it's like, you know, I made FTR originally just to have about 20 like-minded people around me, but then I thought, actually, there's a lot of people who don't know how to trade, so couple it up, make it into a little bit of a course, kind of. There's loads of plans for it, but it's not I wouldn't call it a professional trading course or anything like that. It's just more sort of people being able to talk about their trades when they do and get a little bit of guidance. So yeah, I think that I've drawn out the H4s. Sorry, I'm rambling a lot. So there's the H4s backtesting. What we're going to do is we just want price. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to explain what we're actually doing. So I want price to come into any of these H4s, perform chock on the 15-minute, and then work its way down to another H4. Then we're going to decide at that H4, sorry, I'll slide the screen down a little bit. We'll decide at this H4, what setup are we going to go for? Do we get chock and then possibly, you know, go back up to the next H4, or does it pull back and then continue through? Okay, so do we end up getting a continuation trade instead? And the continuation trade is exactly what happened earlier on today. Price reached it, pulled back a little bit, and then broke through, and it's working towards the next one. So there's only 2 trading setups that we do. It's really, really simple. There is, I'm just going to draw it out again, really simple. There's your point of interest, your H4 in this instance. We either, what did I do? We either get chock like that, where we can start to reverse and come back down, or we get a breakthrough or a breakout, and then we react off of usually that order block and then go to the next one. And that's it. There's only 2 trade setups. It's continuation or reversal, and that's it. But the key areas where it happens, or what I've found that is happening, and what we always see, is usually around these H4 order blocks. So if you can take the trades directly off the H4, but if you do, you want to enter off the 0.5. So what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, we want to take a trade off that H4 and feed it to the most recent H4, which probably hasn't been printed yet. But at the moment on the chart, it looks like it would be this one. That would be your trade, straight off the H4. But it's using a 30 pip stop. So if you're using the 15-minute time frame on EU, you're probably going to be looking at a stop of about 6 to 8. So let's say that we can shrink it down to like maybe 8. What have we done? We've turned a 1 to 12 into a roughly 1 to 45, and that's all what we're doing. Like there's not a major science to it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so there should be a chat box in front of me, so I should be able to see it, but I have to turn this way. Sorry. So Asia sweep and London, New York kill zones are very strong. I don't know what a kill zone is, but I know that the London breakout is good. So I don't know if it's that. It might be where you're talking about where it reverses, pops out and reverses, because that used to happen a lot as well. Yeah, vital, and it is going to piss a lot of people off. But that's where you get most recognition, I guess. and the title is, I think it was, oh, sorry if you're experiencing buffering at the moment. I've just got a notification on YouTube. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Shit. Error. Let me know if it's still working. But yeah, the title of the video is something along the lines of probably the best supply and demand strategy ever, or probably the best supply and demand strategy on the internet, or something like that, because that's going to piss off everybody in SMC. So there's a good reason for it. Like a bit of controversy. Nice to see you, man. I hope your health is good and improving. What a legend. Thank you, Dilu. Yeah, it is improving, which is good. It's my back mostly. It's been a minute for sure. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Alex. I appreciate it, man. And Kyle. Should be able to redact the number, especially if you're recording and upload later. Yeah. The problem is that when you do like live, you can just screenshot the number. And that's the drawback. So that's what I'd done last time. So even though I'd like taken the video down and stuff, people still had my account details, but I don't know how. I don't know if it was linked or not, but my trading account went first. So the trading account was emptied. There wasn't much in it. It was about $5,000. That went first, and then maybe about 3 or 4 weeks later, my bank was emptied. So I don't know if you can get into somebody's trading account and then filter it back to a bank account, but either way, both my accounts were emptied. Both accounts were restored as well, but it's just the most gutting feeling that, well, one of the most gutting feelings you can get. Really, what do you call it? You just feel sick. Like you just feel violated. It's better now, mate. Keep going. Thank you. You look for chalk on the 15 minutes, right? Yeah. We'll look for the chalk on the 15 minutes if we can get it in the H4. So at the moment, I don't see anything positive. So yeah, just going into trading mode again rather than rambling mode. Curve liquidity there, not comfortable. Don't want to take any longs out of this. Possibly here. If there's something more visible on the 15, oh no, it's not in our rules, is it? So this is the real basic rule set that we're following. So I'm not going to do any different variations. So we're just going to forward it until we get to one of these areas. Do we get chalk? Do we get continue? I know we're just looking for chalk entries. So that's it. Right, let's fast forward. Yeah, that went fast. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We don't need to, we can do hindsight stuff, you know, it's not like we're live trading. So what we've done is we've come down to this area. We've had the reaction, which we were kind of expecting. Price came down, it rejected, went up, rejected, and now it's just sort of floating around. So if I want to draw our chalk lines, all right, so I'm just going to make this chalk and boss. So boss, chalk. Something which I'll do when I'm live trading is sometimes I'll set up my 15-minute lines like this. They're just ever extending lines, and I'll set an alert. I can't do it on bar replay, but so boss, so break of structure, continuation, is just that one, and chalk is that one. Okay, so it's not ready yet. That's not chalk. If we get a breakdown and then a pass up again, this will be the chalk line. So let's just click for a little bit. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done back testing, so. That's chalk at the moment on the 15. So it's only been a wick break, but that's where chalk is, and we haven't got the action that we wanted anyway. So we'll just wait until we get to the next H4. What time is it? It's 6 o'clock. So we'll go back 1. So we can look at the next H4, see if there's been one. Oh, this is H4. Shit, what am I doing? Sorry, I've got this completely wrong. Once we got to it, drop down to the 15. Did we get boss or chalk? Sorry, guys. I'm talking too much. So yeah. that was breaker structure chalk. All right, so we got the breaker structure there. Obviously, we can see it didn't work out. But the H4, I'm guessing, was up here somewhere. So I'm just going to check the time. 6 a.m. there. Don't know. But anyway, is there an entry? So there's one here. This one's been mitigated. So I would say if there was an entry, it would probably be off of this. Is it live or has it stopped? Because no, it's live. All right, cool. Fuck it, we can leave it going. Because on the right, it's gone to like, I think it's cut me off after like 30 minutes, and it's just made like the, what's it called, the screensaver thing. But on OBS, which is the streaming software, it's showing that it's still live. So I'm a bit confused. It's just where I can't see myself on the other side. Stream health again. Is it messing up again? I don't know. Yeah, all right, so let's go. So I'm just going to keep talking to myself, hoping that it's still live. If anything goes wrong, stick something in the chat box if that's all right. But anyway, it is kind of weird just talking to myself. But anyway, this would be the entry. You want to get involved. Oh, we didn't even talk about that. I've got another warning. I might have to stream off of my phone for the speed connection. So bear with me a second. This is the first time that I've ever done a live stream. So let's see. If I do this, it will drop. That is frustrating. Curious to know if you use a minimum pip size for pullbacks on various timeframes, i.e., I can't see what else it says. I.e., there's like this little love heart in the way. i.e., 90 on the daily, 40 on the H4, 50. Nah, I don't use a minimum pip size. I try to, when I'm scalping, when I'm using the 1 minute, I try to use 3 pips. But I will always add 0.5 pips for my broker spread, and that broker is usually FTMO. If it's my personal account, there's no spread. Well, sometimes 0.1, but personal account smaller than the FTMO account, so I rarely use it now. But if it's, so basically what I'm doing here, I'll just show you. So this is what I would normally do when I'm doing my videos. So it'd be like that. It'd be like, oh, right, okay, 11.8. But now I go into that and press this 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's my half a pip spread. Because on FTMO, the spreads are awful. So, you know, it's about half a pip for EU. And the target is going to be the rebalance of the H4. So we're just going to move that there. I think that's going to be the H4. Bear with me. Yeah, that's the H4. So this fails in a second, I'm pretty certain. So we would now be tagged into the trade. Oh my days, it's taken a while, isn't it? Let's just fast forward it. Oh, I thought it was going to start us off with a win. Let's keep going. Up, 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 up. Fail. So the information which I would log in my backtesting data is, one, did it fit my setup, or did it fit my rules and my criteria? Yes, what was it? It was a chalk entry within an H4 POI. Where was the target? It was the next H4 POI. So if we go to this, it was H4, it was just the base of it. How long was I in the trade for? And this looks like a mega long trade. So this was probably a day or two, 2 days nearly. So I'd probably want to punch out in real life. Like, I'm not too comfortable holding trades for that long. And also, how far was the drawdown which you went in? This was, you know, a full -1, but how far in profit did it go as well? So you want to say, right, the actual target was 8.75, which is there, but how far did it actually reach? And it reached about there, which was 7.56, which was 93 pips. So you want to try to measure how much how much of the account you're risking, what the actual stop loss is, what the overall target is, and how close to that target did you get? Because you might find that the targets are too ambitious, but when you reach some of these areas, so some of these key points of interest, you might just be able to get 1 or 2 or 3 R most of the time. So you might get something which is over a 50% win rate. Maybe say you get something which is 50% win rate, but it's a 1 to 3. That's a winning strategy. So you should just do that automatically. So you should place one trade, maybe half of your normal risk at, like, you know, a 1 to 3, and then the other half being the overall target. So in this case, it would be 1 to 3. There would be, you know, take profit, but then you've got this one, which is like a 1 to 8.5, which didn't work out. So I've just got a WhatsApp message through. Let's see who it is. Happy days. So, ow. Yeah, I'm guessing you were watching that. So let's go on to the next. Where's the next H4? So that's happened now. And what's happened is that there's been, I think, 2 H4s printed. So there's one here, potentially. Doesn't look great. Very, very weak order block in my eyes, but there's still one there. And then this one as well, which also looks weak. No, I could go into all the reasons as to why it's weak, which I might as well do because it's my first stream. Don't know if I'm allowed to swear on streams. Like, one of the reasons why my YouTube videos take so long to do is that it takes about, well, a lot of time to edit all the swearing. So I apologize. I've got a natural potty mouth. I think I used to listen to too much Wu-Tang Clan, Cypress Hill, and Limp Bizkit when I was younger. So everything's the F word, and I think I'm trying to work on it. Yeah, so there's your H4, there's your H4. They're not great. So now we're stuck in the middle of a range. We're just going to wait for it to reach this H4 or that H4. So let's click on a tiny bit and just, I was going to say it's kind of left one behind, and we've just tapped that one. We just kissed it, which is cool. So that happens sometimes. So this is why supply and demand is really important. When you've just got opposite, not necessarily always opposite candles, but it's just the closing of imbalances. So once you get a close of an imbalance, you normally just get a little bit of a ricochet, and then price comes back down to get in again. So yeah, that's a good phrase actually. You can't always win in a trade. You just need to adjust your risk according to your bloody thing isn't to your account. Risk and profit are important issues. Yeah, that's it. Like, you know, I typically won't take a trade unless it's a 1 to 4. Ideally a little bit more, because my personal win rate when I'm actually focused and concentrating is about 30%. This last 6 months though, it's been like 20. It's been awful. So if I'm taking trades which are a 1 to 4, but I've only got a win rate of 20%, that's going to lose me about 20% of my balance over the period of a year, I think. Just quick maths there, it might be slightly wrong, but it's a losing strategy. So if my win rate is 30%, the strategy is actually slightly higher. It's about 32%. But if my win rate is 30% and I'm risking 1 to 4, that's a profitable strategy. So, 1 to 4 is 25% of that. And then you've got the gap of the additional 5%. You multiply that by 5, I want to say. And that's going to be your percentage gain over the period of 100 trades. But, a lot of the time, the trades are like 1 to 8, 1 to 9, 1 to 10, most of the time, actually. So you can get counter trend trades, which are like, 1 to 8, 1 to 9. They're probably worth taking, but your win rate on counter trends are far less than pro trends. So one of the things that I wanted to cut out of my trading was counter trend. And the way to figure out counter trend, just really quickly looking at the charts, is there's imbalance left here, there's imbalance left there. We're pro trending now. We're trending down. So that curve liquidity, which I said about, it's quite funny actually. Yeah, I think it was right there. I think I said within 1 or 2 candles it normally gets taken, and it literally happened right there. So that was all counter trend. It was going counter trend because everything was catching up. The market was catching up. Like if you imagine the DOM charts where it's like the sellers and the buyers on one side, you've got it sort of scaling like that. And then this comes in, probably news led, and then news led again. Now the market's bounced off another zone, which is cool. Might come back up to here, get chalk on the 15-minute, work our way back down to this one. Another way to be able to manage pro trend and counter trend I found was using boss and chalk. Now I didn't like using the terms boss and chalk because they just sound stupid, but they're pretty good. So if you're following boss like break of structure, you can give yourself confidence that you're going to reach your target. So right now, at the moment, we've just got, it's kind of like an internal chalk right here using the inside bar. Why is that not turned on, by the way? There we go. So we've got like an internal chalk occurred. So we might work our way into here to continue short. But if we get another candle, which let's say, for example, pulls down, goes up, goes down again, we'll get the break of structure here. Like that, we'll get the break of structure here, and we could expect that the market's going to pull back. It doesn't have to be into discount, by the way. It could just be into a premium area and then continue down to the next level. Okay, so boss and chalk is really helpful once you know what the statistics are, and luckily we've done the back testing for that quite heavily in the group, so we know. Here's one that I made earlier, but we know what the stats are. I know that I've just got it written down here, but there's a, I think I put the results in a video. I think that's on YouTube. Hi Paul, hope you're feeling better now, mate. Thank you, Hayden. I appreciate it, man. At the end of the day, trading is an educated guess. It is, yeah. I fully agree with that. I think if trading, like at the end of the day, I say to people within the group, and I'm guilty of breaking this myself, you should do what the market tells you to do. You shouldn't be predicting it. You should be reacting. So us being retail traders, like retail trader being like, I'm at home trading. You guys are likely at home trading. There's a few floor traders in FTR, or there have been in the past. So actual not prop, what they're called, hedge fund traders. Guys who worked at a trading desk, which was really cool. So I learned a lot from them, which was really, really awesome. But if you're a retail trader, we probably don't have the combined strength to move the market that much. Of course, we can move the market because we've got big leverage on our accounts. So if we are connected to the live market, of course we can not shift it huge amounts, but we can move the chart. If you do the maths behind it, and every YouTuber out there says you can't move the markets, they're a fucking idiot, because we've got leverage of 100 or 500 on our accounts, and a lot of us are trading over 50 grand. So if I put a trade which is worth £500 risk in the market with leverage of 500 as well, let me just do the figures on that real quickly. So I don't know what that leverage is, but it is enough to move the market. 500 times 500 is 250,000. Okay, so 250,000 pounds. So what would that be in dollars? Call it $250,000. Now, the overall Forex market is about 7 trillion a day. but the Forex market that we've got visibility of is about 300 billion. So 300 billion divided by 250,000, 300 billion, that's a lot of zeros, divided by 250,000 is 1.2 million. Okay, 1.2 million, which sounds like a lot, but how many pips does the market move every day? A lot. More, probably more than a million. So because we're counting up and down and up and down and up and down every minute, every second, etc. So you can move the market, but it depends how much you're trading with. But anyway, we can't shift the market enormously like during red news events, because you know that's where you can disguise a bit of a taxi trade, kind of. So yeah. Oh, but anyway, with that, what I was talking about originally was that, you know, we're retail traders typically, so we should be reacting to the market, allow the market to do its thing, figure out what a profitable strategy is. So looking at it generally, I think it's supply and demand trading that I do. And because I've figured out a way which mathematically it works, all what I have to do is wait for price to reach to certain areas. So at the moment, you know, let's say like this was a live chart, I would set an alert here. So I'd just go like literally I'd set an alert there. So just before it gets to the zone. So I've got 15 minutes, maybe half an hour before I have to start looking for an entry. And then I'd set another alert, like literally right in the middle of the H4. Because once that middle one's been hit, I can start looking for a reversal candle or chalk. So yeah, there we go. So that's the other bit which I was going to say as well, Val. A lot of brokers don't actually put your trade on. So yeah, that's the other part. So it depends on which band you're on. I don't know this stuff properly, but I have read the terms and conditions of two of my brokers, and it sucked because it took about 90 minutes each. But one of them, we weren't live on the market. We could see the live market stuff, but we were not live on the market. So they would show me where the entries were and where the exits were, but I was not actually entering my trades into the market. And I was like, that's a big broker. You know, I think it's class 2 or class B. I can't remember what the classes are called, but it wasn't cool to find that out, because exactly like Val's just said, we're not live, but they can see where our exits are. And if you're a scalper, like most retail traders or a day trader, intraday trader, they just want to see where your stops are. So they get paid on the spread and the commission. So they get paid twice or 3 times every time you take a trade. Yeah, conflict of interest. It is nasty. But don't forget as well, this has not been available to us for very long, 20 years perhaps. You know, TradingView, I don't know how long this is, but retail traders haven't been able to trade for very long at all, like 20 years. Like you used to have to go into a stock exchange and sit at one of their computers if you wanted to trade on live markets. But that was like in the 80s and 90s. It's probably late 90s when this became available to us. So yeah, we're talking 25 years we've had this available. Now, when the public get introduced to something which has been not available to the public before, if it's free, which this kind of is, you are the product. So if this software, which, you know, a Bloomberg terminal, when I was at uni, the Bloomberg terminals were like 30 grand each. It was ridiculous. But this stuff is free. Like TradingView is free if you use the free version. You know, your brokers, it costs hardly anything to place a trade. You know, it's practically free. We are the product, you know, we are the liquidity. So we can only really do what the big boys are doing. You know, and the big boys show their hand during the red news. They don't really do it at any other time, because the majority of the movements that you see in the market are just recordings of bank transactions. You know, it's business transactions, a lot of it, which you can actually see on TradingView. So the banks aren't looking to take you out with liquidity because they've got bigger fish to fry, like their competitors, which are other banks or themselves. The 15-minute is not going to be, you know, a liquidity pool for a bank or something like that. There's so much misinformation out there, it pisses me off. But who am I? I'm just a relatively well-educated guy in economics. But Yeah, really appreciate your channel for. Thank you, Hayden. Yeah, that's it, man. Like, it's what pisses me right off. I don't know if I'll get my channel shut down if I keep swearing, but I'll do that. Back that up, a breath of fresh air. Yeah, let's do that. Most often, banks and hedge funds actually hold the brokers. Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, Jack, you're right, dude. So Jack's one of the trainers in FTR. So if everyone sees his comment, he's a good guy. Oh, Jack, I was just doing my bookkeeping, just randomly. I was just doing my bookkeeping yesterday, and I can't believe that it's actually been 6 months since I came to Brighton to come see you. So I need to come down and see you again soon. Well, on that, I didn't manage to get Streamlabs working. I'm using OBS, so this is what I use to create the YouTube videos. But I didn't know that OBS can live stream. I couldn't get the visual or the screen on Streamlabs. I'll get it working later though. I'm going to spend a bit more time on it tonight. But yeah, yeah. Paul, you demand. Thank you. But yeah, hopefully it's okay. I'm gonna get some like skins and stuff to make it look really cool, hopefully, but not too gimmicky. You're in Brighton as well. I think Jack's gonna get his wish of a trader meetup in Brighton. We've got to do one in Birmingham again soon. I had to cancel the last one because I broke my back, but like literally. But we'll do it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Val. So, yeah, the next trader meetup. I think I need to give everybody like a 2-week notice period, 2 or 3 weeks. So if we say 2 weeks from now, like we should have done by now. Okay, so luckily with YouTube, I'll just share at some point. I'll show you like my YouTube statistics and stuff. So it will show you like how much money the videos make. It will show you all the relevant analytics as to where people are. So I know that I've got a big following in Amsterdam. I've got a big following in Dublin. Well, big following, say about 50 or 60 people in each city. So Dublin, Amsterdam. I want to say Marseille, but I think it's Nice in France, Barcelona, and there was somewhere else. But I'd planned to do one meetup in Birmingham because it's central in the UK. Everyone can kind of get to it, and it's closer for me as well. I was going to do one in London, but I hate London. It's a shithole. So we'll do Birmingham, Brighton, Dublin, Amsterdam, Nice. I want to say Munich was one, but I'd rather do Frankfurt just because it's, you know, the stock exchange, isn't it? So, how can you determine if news is going to make the market bounce up or below? There's a few things, and it's usually in the recording. So it's like I don't have the patience. Well, I would if my life depended on it. Like if I was managing millions of pounds in a hedge fund, I'd be sitting and watching what they talk about in the news releases. So, you know, the big, say like, I want to say FOMC. It's probably not that anymore. What's the big one which just started happening this last year and a half? I can't remember what it is. But one of the big news events when it releases the data where it says, okay, this was the expected, we'll call it 60, but then the actual and the forecast are completely different. And then the move just shoots in one direction or the other. That information is normally semi-released in hints in what is being said on the like the press conference beforehand. So if you understand the terminology and you understand the wider economics and macroeconomics, so looking wider worldwide and how, I don't know, let's say oil trade into America is going to affect the dollar, maybe you might not want to look at the dollar and you might want to look at the Canadian dollar, or you might want to look at the Aussie, or you might want to look at some sort of currency in the Middle East and start seeing how these terms are being used to try and aid the dollar and get a beast of a move on a different currency pair. But a lot of that information is normally given slightly, well, a day or two before the actual news. But if you, PPI, that's CPI, that's it, CPI, Consumer Prices Index, that's the big one these days. But that information is pretty much, it's not, I won't say it's leaked, but it's kind of leaked a bit, but it's not solid either. So there's hints, and I get it wrong. Like, you know, I don't like trading the news itself. I know how to trade after the initial push. So I know how to trade profitably. There's a couple of ways actually to trade the actual news, but I don't like to trade pre-news. I'll trade 30 seconds after the news has been announced. There's two really good ways to do it. Normally, not always, but normally, so probably say 2/3, 3/4 of the time, the news will shoot in one direction. I'll just draw it out on here. You guys are lucky. You're the first viewers on my first ever stream, so I'll show you how to trade the news. So we're going to pretend that the news is going to come from this candle. We're going to pretend that it goes down. So we'll use this. I'm going to make it yellow and full. All right, so news event gets released, whatever it is, and price shoots down. All right, so it's just shot down. You think, oh my God, look at that move. I've just missed out. All right, let me just do this in the middle. It will make sense in a second. So the news event shoots off. That's great. And your spreads are going crazy. And all what you're watching is you're watching the news go like this. Like the spreads are going mad. So these two being the spreads, let's pretend that these two lines are the spreads. Your bid and ask are like really, really broad, okay? So it moves a little bit, spread goes there, and then this spread goes here, and then it comes back in a little bit further, spread goes there, spread goes here, and then it comes back a little bit, and then it goes back again, and then you see that the spread almost normalizes. Not quite, but almost. As soon as it normalizes, put a stop loss on of 10 pips-ish. 8 pips, 10 pips, 15, whatever, you decide. Stop loss, because most of the time, those news events continue throughout the rest of the day and then the rest of the week or the rest of the month in the direction of the initial push, and you're in. That's it. That's how I trade the red news. And if you don't do it that way, there's another way, but I don't really want to say. Actually, I can't say it because somebody else told me in confidence. But it's really good. But I would be doing them dirty if I said how to do it. But it's another guaranteed way of making money through red news. Yeah, when Powell opens his mouth, fucking idiot. Live streams are better. I can just be myself. Man, I should release some. Yeah, I should just release some of the unedited videos that I've done for YouTube. You'd be surprised. There's like just so much like coughing or talking to myself or swearing, and I have to edit all of that, and it's a pain. That's why I have to. Oh, my face is in the way on this, but quite often I'll put this over the time. So it'd be like put over the time because there's so many jumps in time. It will take me 2 or 3 hours to record like a 15-minute video because there's just so much rambling going on. It just takes ages. I feel sorry for the person who I've just hired or just hiring to do the video editing because I can't keep doing it myself. Bang, there we go. There's a red news event. Must be, mustn't it? So next 4 hours. What happened with the 15 minutes, by the way? Did we get, no, there was no continuation trade to take. There was no chock either. Oh, actually, had we, nope. There was a rebalance there. There's the next H4 just up there. Let's see what we get. Do we count this? No, because chock's down here. We could get this. If we get a break below there, that would be chock. Before we break out of the area, by the way. We've got another one, so chock kind of moves there-ish. Oh no, it doesn't. Moves there. So could this be classed as a sweep? Are we sweeping anything? Just happening to that, potentially? Oh, yeah, I'd kind of forgive that. Not anymore. No, price has gone through. So was there a pullback that we'd missed? Maybe. Like, maybe. Yes, it's rebalanced, but that would potentially be one that you'd want to take, but you wouldn't be so pleased getting involved if that had happened. Anyway, where's the next stage for? Possibly up there. Whoa. And then it's probably going to be one above. Oh, actually, even if there was that one there, the next H4 isn't very far, so you probably wouldn't even take that trade, even if you're on top of it. Give it like an extra 0.5, so it'd be a 4 pip. What would the target be? Yeah, you take it. It's pretty much the 1 to 4. Are you at limit or marketing in? Oh, sorry, with the red news event. Sorry, I've read that late. So it would just be straight order. So no limit order. Like, limit orders are for idiots. Don't use limit orders where you can help it. And by limit orders, I mean limit or stop orders. Try not to use those. Try to use market entry where you can, because you're invisible. If you're invisible in a market, you're dangerous, or potential for dangerous. If the market, this is probably quite key. I'll try and figure out how to cut this bit. Oh, actually, there is like a little key here. I'm going to press something. Hopefully it's not going to cut us off. All right, I've just added a stream marker. So, cool. Okay, so this is going to help me with the video edit. What was it, an hour and 7 in? I might try and write that down. If the market didn't have live entries, okay, so market entry orders, the market won't move. You have to have entry orders to move the market. So if you just have pending orders, I just explained this to somebody last night, actually, one of the mentees, but if you only had limit orders, like you can see them on a DOM chart for stocks especially. I don't know if you can get the access for Forex. You might be able to, but I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen it for Forex for ages. But anyway, DOM chart, you've got, I think, the sellers on the right, the buyers on the left, and the prices which they're willing to buy and sell at. And then you've got the actual current price in the middle. But you can also see, depending on what software it is that you're using, so like Bloomberg terminals and stuff, great. But you can see that there might be 100 orders at, a pip above where you are, but only 50 orders at a pip below where you are. But because they're limit orders, they're just literally limits on the account, on that currency, on the stock, whatever it is that you're using. Now, if there's no live trade going into it, so if there's no market entry order, nobody is going to be hit, because you're not buying at the price above and you're not selling at the price below. The market is jammed. It's not doing anything. So you have to have live entries. But if you have limit orders on, okay, so this is something which I'm tempted to experiment with. Now, I've always used a stop loss. I know this is going to be like, what? But I've always used a stop loss. I'm tempted to stop using a stop loss for a little bit, but significantly reduce the risk that I'm taking on the trades, or massively increase my stop loss. No, that would be reducing the risk, wouldn't it? So what I mean by that is your stop loss is still a limit order, and it's visible, isn't it? So, oh, it's just said that my streaming will end shortly. Maybe there's a limit as to how long I can stream for. Yeah. Sorry, just reading some of the comments. So yeah, not sure how heavy YouTube monitors swearing. I don't know. Hopefully not much. But yeah, if your stop loss is on, it's a limit order and it's visible. So the amount of times, and everybody says this, the amount of times like it's just tapped my stop loss and gone off without me. What if your stop loss wasn't there? Would it have gone that far? don't know, tempted to not use a stop loss for just a few trades and see what happens. Don't know, very tempted. But if someone's got visibility of where you've put your stops or where you've actually put your orders, and they've got the power to take you out of the market, of course they're going to do it. But I don't think that liquidity runs and stuff in Forex are as common as what a lot of people make out. Like, I really don't think that they are. Like, it's obvious where the trades are. Like, it's obvious where the breakout traders are. It's obvious where the stop losses are. So I can't remember who it is. It's some old chap. It wasn't the guy who made Market Wizards or Trading in the Zone, but it was another really old trader. He's probably dead now. He was ancient when he said this. But essentially, he said along the lines of, it makes a huge difference when you put your entry where you used to put your stop loss. That's like, oh, okay, I've never done that, but it kind of makes sense. Don't know. He's an experienced, like, Wall Street trader, so you know, I would kind of trust their analysis on what happens, rather than, you know, Mr. Jimmy Bobby sits in his mum's basement and makes YouTube videos like 5 times a week. You know, I would trust the actual trader. So yeah, anyway, let's jump back into this. Let's just keep on going a little bit. What's the time? 11:15. What day is it? It's Monday. I don't have to be up early, so let's. Right, so we've tapped into next H4. That's great. We have chock occurred, so you would have made that one if you did it, but would you really? It did break out of the... Nah, you probably wouldn't even get into that trade, to be fair. I wouldn't be brave enough to take it in real life trading, but it is backtesting, so technically there was a trade. That would be a win. Now price broke into this H4. It's reacted off a wick, which I don't like. We've technically got chock on the 15. Can we get a pullback into here? That is a big stop loss. $11.2. Right, so it'll be 11.7. And then where's your next target going to be? Let's go back a little bit. So got to go back prior to 6 o'clock. Where's the next H4? That one's been used up. Oh, it's not great. I'd want to say that it's this H4 again, rather than this, because that's been completely liquidated. I'm going to have to say that the target's down here. Looks a bit scary. 1 to 17, wish us luck. But it's backtesting, and this is all how you backtest. It's literally how you figure out whether or not your strategy is good or not. Oh, there we go, got knocked out straight away. So that would be a loss right there. Then do you go for your second chance? Because there's your chock again. Let me just clear up some of this. You'd be doing it off of this, which again would feel quite risky. Then you get knocked out again. So the chock in these areas hasn't been very good. Can we get a pullback trade? Don't particularly like anything, so I'm not going to put one on. Where's the next zone? It's miles away. Make any sense of an... Oh, there we go. We're right on the time where we could do an M4. H4, sorry. Might be Mark Douglas, actually. Yeah, sorry, I just read that. Yeah, Val, sorry. I don't know how long ago these comments went in, but not set the stop loss and still get out where you would normally get out, or get out just slightly after. So don't leave it forever and go and eradicate your account. But still get out. So if you can live monitor the trade, if it goes back against you, just have the discipline to cut it. But you know, not you don't want it to destroy your account. Sorry, it's yeah. Sorry, just reading some of these. Do you ever get sick of trading? Yeah, it's boring. I don't like trading anymore. It's really, really boring. When I think I was actually saying this in FTR earlier, like when you're trying to figure something out, like I've just got like a really big thirst for knowledge, and if I'm interested in something, I want to know everything about it. But it's like doing a really difficult puzzle. But once I've figured it out, I just lose interest. And that is kind of what happened with trading. Like, I like it sometimes, but I really dislike backtesting. And the dislike of backtesting is because I did it for like 5 years. About 5 years. And the recording of the data, because my spreadsheet was so big, it would take in the end about 15 minutes to enter a single trade. Now it only takes about a minute to enter a trade, so it's not as bad, but it's where I've just done it so much, and now I know what I'm doing. It's like I can't really bring myself to do backtesting because it's the most boring thing you could ever do, but it is important. So when you go through like a losing streak, it's natural to feel a loss in your abilities. It's natural to feel like you don't know what you're doing. It's natural to feel like imposter syndrome and all sorts of things because you look at other people, and I know that it says in the Bible that comparison is the killer of all joy, but it's absolutely true. And you can't help but to put yourself in that situation when you go for a losing streak. So you should go back and backtest just to make sure, like, oh yeah, of course I know what I'm doing. Like I've had a positive expectancy over the period of a month. It's fine. Just keep doing what you're doing. The losses are a part of trading. So trading is boring. And it helps when you've got like a community of people around you. It doesn't matter if it's FTR, if it's just your friends, if it's another trading group or community, like it's definitely worthwhile just chatting to people during the day. Even if you trade a different strategy to them, it's like, oh, you know, what's your view on, I don't know, pound yen? Oh, let's have a look. And it's more fun when you're looking together. When it's just by yourself, all sorts of doubt creeps in. Like I'm not immune to it. Christ, I'm probably just an average trader. Like I've figured out how the market works for sure. I've figured out a profitable strategy, but in terms of trading ability, probably the same as everybody else. Like I still have doubts. I still make mistakes. I still have, well, sometimes I get a bit of fear. I still hesitate sometimes. I still have greed at the wrong moments. Yeah, I still make the same mistakes as everybody else. So please save this live. Yeah, I will do. Don't worry. But yeah, it's the frustrating thing is though is like I know that if I was pitted against anybody in terms of like competition to win, I'm pretty sure I'd do well. Because there's multiple ways which I can trade. The route which I go with FTR, the supply and demand strategy, really, really profitable if you want to do stuff during the day. So when I started trading, or when I started the London breakout, it's because I was able to trade before I went to work, and I was working from home anyway. So I could basically be at my chart at 7 a.m., wait for the breakout at 8. You know, if the breakout didn't happen till 11, I was still at my chart at my desk, so I could do it around my job. And then part of my job meant that I had to go to different parts of the country, and I couldn't be at the chart. So I realized that it wasn't reacting necessarily because it was the London Open. It would happen all the time, all over the chart. And when it's jumping between these zones, these different higher time frame zones, these points of interest, these supply and demand zones, in the middle, you don't really want to be getting involved in the middle of two zones. You want to be getting involved at the peak of the zone. So I realized that the ideal setup would be, say for example, this zone and this zone, you know, is it's quite good that I didn't really draw anything out. There was this one in the middle, which it went straight through, and then this one where it kind of stopped for a little bit. You'd have an alert set below here, you'd have an alert set there, but you'd have like an 8-hour period of doing nothing. And that's where you should live your life. Like, you should just live your life there. Are you going to teach your kids how to trade? I've been thinking about it, and I'd love to. I'd like to teach my kid how to trade, but in all honesty, if he doesn't want to, I'm not going to force it on him. I'd like him to be a footballer, but if he's going to be shaped like me, don't know. I was a goalkeeper or a left winger, but I'm 6'2" and 200 pounds, so I'd like him to be a central midfielder because there's always between 3 and 6 get used per team per game. And if the Championship or even League One, like if the inflation goes the way that it's going with Premier League football in the UK, he'll earn extremely good money even if he only gets to the 3rd league. He'll be the same level as Premier League players at the moment when he gets to like 25, 26. So for his sake, if it's money that is going to lead him, I want him to go into football. He's already in a little football academy, so, but he doesn't like it. He doesn't like going. He's like, don't like football. It's like, yes, you do. When you're there, you love it. But same with the charts. If like he's interested, like I used to sit him on my lap when he was like a little baby, and he'll sort of like watch me sort of click around on the screen, but he doesn't know what he's looking at. But he's interested because it's like, oh, what's daddy do? It's like, daddy's a trader. What's a trader? It's like, how do you politely tell a baby or a little toddler that you're skinning stock traders out of money? Hayden, I've just seen what you said. I'm going to ban you from this channel. No, not really. Aston Villa. Probably Aston Villa. Because, 1, I live near them-ish. I'm like an hour and a half away. 2, I support them. And 3, they have an actual recruitment scheme from about 4 years old to join their academies. So live your life at the EQ. Yeah, basically. But yeah, I'd like him to play for Villa. But if he doesn't play for Villa, there's 2 big recruitment clubs. 3 actually. There's TNS, which is big for Wales, but they've got a huge recruitment system for youngsters. There is Shrewsbury Town, which have a huge drive, and that is 20 minutes from where I live, 15 minutes maybe. And then there's Wrexham. So, you know, that's good because Ryan Reynolds, he'll sell it. As soon as he can sell it, he'll sell it. But for the moment, Wrexham would be a good one for him. That's only an hour up the road. So it's a little tap off of there. The next one's miles away. I would suggest potentially it's touching the H4, but it's not in the H4. So it'd be kind of breaking our rules a little bit. Or it would be on the rules because it is kind of tapping it. There's an inside bar there as well. Where are we? Not getting much luck on this backtesting session, but this is the thing. All what you do is you literally just gather the information that you can get. So looking good so far. Aggression up, slowness coming back down. So it's showing like a lack of aggression. Tap in and hopefully go. But we'll see. What time is it? Asia. So of course, it's going to be like that. Have we hit London yet? So this looks like it would be a London sweep. Liquidity under here. Come down, tap in, go, hopefully. That'll be our trade entry if we do. There we go. Oh, you swine. So we'd be in, basically, we'd be in this trade and our target's all the way up here. But of course, we're still looking to record the data as to how far it actually went, how much drawdown we went into, etc., etc. So that's how you find out where you're going to be taking partials or if you take your trade off entirely, just so you can get something out of the market. I don't really take partials though. Every time I've taken partial, I've not done very well with it. I completely disagree with people when they say you should take off 90% at 90% of the way there. I think that's the most idiotic way to trade. Because then you still have to go twice the distance to get that final 10% of what you're aiming for. It's just basically punishing yourself. You might as well take 100% off at 90% of the way there. What else have we got? How can I find profitability? How can you find profitability? Backtest any idea that you've got. That's it. That's literally it. I would be skeptical with... Are we still live? I don't know, actually. I think so. But yeah, I'd be skeptical of a lot of stuff that you see on YouTube or Instagram. God, that's probably worse than YouTube. But I'd be skeptical. I'd look for... To be fair, I'd look to possibly learn from the traders who don't look like they're ultra rich. So how do I describe it? I don't want to say names because I don't want, I've already had those threats before, but you'll know roughly what I mean. But regardless, you could find a strategy on YouTube. Some of these bullshitters are probably decent as well, but find a strategy, figure out what they're saying, and then backtest it yourself. So like a criticism which I've had a lot is, oh, you say that your strategy can get you 60R in a day. And it's like, easily. But then how much did I get? Oh, I got -3 that day. So I got 3 losses, but the actual strategy gave out 60%. And it's like, that's because I wasn't trading at the right time, or I entered at the wrong place during the live market conditions. But I'm showing you a strategy which works, and I'm proving it. So find something that works, find something that fits your personality or the time that you've got available. Make sure that it fits what your broker will allow you to do as well. And then do that. Backtest it, make sure it's profitable, make sure it fits you, and just do that every day until you die. And that's how you get profitable. I hope that makes sense. A little bit morbid sounding, but I was told that about a year ago by 2 of the chaps in FTR, and it sorted out my head because I was hesitating at the time. I was getting really, really nervous with a lot of my trades. And they said, this is all what you do till the day that you die. Like, you press the button and that is it. Stop worrying. And from there, I don't think I've had too much fear in the markets at all. Let's see, what have I missed? So this has just refined itself into another order block. There's another order block on the 15, just here. Everything's mitigating though. So everything's mitigating and rebalancing, which means that we've now got liquidity all the way under here. So if price comes down with like a news event, which looks like there's one coming up. But, oh shit, it's giving us the result. Actual forecast, etc. And it's the big one, I think. What's the date? 12th. It's not that big. It's big, but not that big. Should tear straight through because it's liquidity. Let's see what the time is there. 9:30, one more, and then we'll get 10 o'clock. So 4 o'clock, sorry, H4. Yeah, look at that. Look at that channel forming. Little channel, bang, should collapse straight down. If we do get a break of the channel, it will just go on the next candle. And the next H4, we can move that out of the way now. Move that out the way. Next H4 is here. Not a strong one, but it's still, you know, it requires a rebalance at some point. Frustratingly. So are there any buys on the 15 that we could do? No. So my assumption is that if price comes down, it should smash straight through this area, probably come back up, grab liquidity from an order block that isn't visible yet, or possibly just this white push up, and then down to the next H4. So that would be my assumption if we do break down. But it's best not to assume it. It's best just to react once you know roughly what you're doing. Oh shit, there's the news event. Right, so it was a double whipsaw. We'd still be in the trade. Although, where was price just before that happened? Would I be advising people to get out? Nah, 50 pips. That's 50 pips, I'd still be in that. Wouldn't be crying about it. Because you wouldn't be, well, I don't know, looking at that. I want to say that you'd be wicked out with shit. What's it called? I forgot what it's actually called. I can't remember what it's called. I'm getting a bit tired. Oh, I've got to take my sleeping tablet as well. But yeah, basically the volatility. Even though TradingView shows you that price came there, it probably came down a bit lower in real life. Anyway, what's happening? Still on the 15. Are we going to reach target? Oh, come on, you bastard. I might cut the trade. I haven't even physically placed it on, but I might cut the trade so we can finish this first little backtesting session and rambling session on a high. So, oh, sorry, you know what, let's just place it anyway. Inside bar to the base of that. I'll zoom in, show you where we got involved. If you're new, we got involved there, and we use a 0.5 stop loss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See that? Even though I'd be thinking in real life like, oh, 8.5 pip stop loss, that's huge. Well, luckily you used it because price came down really close, and the next actual target all the way up there at 18.5. You know, it came up to there, so 17.5, and there was like, I know that I wouldn't have taken this in real life wherever it was. I can't even remember. It was one around there. It is like a 1 to 4 in real life. I wouldn't take that trade, but it's valid for the backtesting. So what's that? 4 plus, call it 17, minus 1, minus 2. Was there a minus 3 over there? I can't remember if we took a trade over there, but I'll pretend that we did. So call it minus 3 plus 4 plus 17, 21 plus 18. There we go. And that's all how you do your backtesting. That's it. I hope that makes spread. Yeah, I still can't remember what's slippage. Bloody hell, that took ages. It was slippage. Yeah, so in red news events, so when there's major volatility, it might show that it's only reached like a flat number, but your broker's gone and just taken you out. Slippage. Sorry, it's called slippage. Spread. Yeah, that triggered the memory slippage because I have been slipped multiple times in the markets. Sorry, just reading some of the comments again. Do you enjoy doing YouTube? I enjoy doing this live. I don't enjoy actually making videos for YouTube. I really dislike doing it. Hence what, well, that's not the reason why I haven't done videos this year. I've done 2 videos in 10.5 months. I know there was one released in April, but that was recorded in early December or late November. But I did 2 videos probably in July or August, something like that. But yeah, I don't really enjoy doing YouTube videos. But I don't mind doing the live. Like, this is all right, actually, if you guys don't mind it. I'll just try to be me. Because I wonder if I can just show you, we're in YouTube for the money. Other people aren't. There's one video which did really well financially. And if you replicate that once a week with just the amount of subscribers which I've got, you can make 4 times the average salary in the UK just doing YouTube videos. And I could name so many channels who do that because they don't have a fucking clue how to trade. Because if they have so many trading concepts, oh, this is how you do this, this is how you do that, this is how you do this, I can guarantee you they are just confused and they don't know what they're doing live on the markets. And I would just put out an open challenge to face anybody on live trading who claim to have that many sort of ways to trade. There's multiple channels out there. You guys will know who they are, but it just pisses me off. No end. So, but generally speaking, yeah, I don't like doing YouTube videos, but yeah, I'd like to show you. Maybe I'll read whether or not I'm allowed to do it or whether or not I would actually take the channel down, but I'd just like to show you guys like all the YouTube stats. Like that video in April has made about 2.5 grand ish. Now that's 6 months that it's been live and it's made like 2,300. So if you think over the period of a year, that might round up to about 3,000. So call it 50 weeks in a year. If you did that 50 times, 3,000 times 50, that's 150 grand. Pounds, not dollars, so 150,000 pounds. And at the time that that video went live, I think I had about 10,000 subscribers. I've now got 20,000 because of that video. So that got 10,000 subscribers. So if you think of the channels which have 100,000 subscribers, 200,000 subscribers, and they're doing videos, releasing them on a Friday night or a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning or something like that. They're doing it weekly, week in, week out. And the video is another strategy. Is like, are they trading? Like, I don't know if they are or not. Like, you know, if they're giving out actual solid trading advice and it actually works, you know, I'm all for it. But I don't like it when they pretend. Bit of an old dinosaur here, and past my bedtime. Oh, no worries, man. No, I'm similar to you. I've got sleeping tablets to help me sleep. So I'm gonna take one of those in a minute. Yeah, thank you. I will try to do a live tomorrow morning. Like, I'll try and be on here about 7:30, 8 o'clock UK time. That'd be quite cool. You don't take partials. Do you tend to move trades to break even after a time? So on this little D game dev, lately I have moved my stop loss to break even on a couple of trades, and that's because of nervousness. It's holding onto an account challenge and a live account, so it's like I don't want to screw up like that bigger sum of money for pride. Yeah, at the same time, I advise people never to move their stop loss. And I did it earlier, like I did a live trade earlier. We got stopped out. I could talk you through it actually. So I'll get off bar replay quickly and I'll show you the trade that I took. Give it a second to load. Yeah, so it was around here. Oh, just kept on going, didn't it? Yeah, so I've got this one pending. This is a pending order at the moment. I might take it off in a second. I'll just check the charts in a minute. But this was the trade that I took, and it was going to be a 16R trade. But I can talk you through that. But I didn't move my stop loss, even though I kind of knew that I should. So the rules around this, which I've got personally, like, sorry, it's a little bit messy, but it's just sometimes I update my chart, sometimes I don't, but I know what I'm looking for because I put it on there, if that makes sense. So in the background here, you can see it better over here. There's an H4 order block, right? So this is the H4 order block. The ones which are shaped like this normally get run, and I noticed that a lot. So strong sell-off, bit of a zigzag back up, and then price just shoots through. And I was well aware of that. But also, it's a strong area if price was to come down because of how price is formed. So I was quite aware that we could just go straight through or we can pull back. Now, within this H4, there were two 15s, all right? So within there, we've got a 15-minute order block here, and we've got a 15-minute order block here. Now, when you're stuck with that situation, I've had it so many times in the past where I've placed an order on the lower order block and an order on the higher one, and price would come into the middle and then pull away. So I get knocked out of one, don't get tagged in the other one, and then sit there crying, thinking like, oh God, like if I just combined the two, I'd have been fine. You know, it would have been a smaller win, but it would still be a win. I wouldn't be sat on a loss. So luckily I was at my screen when I got the alert. So I had the alert go off on the daily one right here. And I had an alert set on the halfway point of the H4, which was exactly here. So about 2 minutes before the entry came about. And all I was looking for was, I wasn't looking for chalk. I was looking for either a rejection or I was looking for indecision in the market. So I wanted to see, in this case, a bearish pin bar, which would look a bit like, well, actually exactly like that candle there, that blue candle. So a bearish opposite pin bar. or I wanted to see a doji, or I wanted to see a outside bar or an extremely strong sell-off. And even though I didn't get the perfect setup, I saw this happen. So the halfway point, the halfway line was about here, all right? Maybe a bit less, about there. So the alert went off. I saw this happen, and I saw the inside bar. I'm not a fan of that setup generally. There's usually a pullback off of this, but it's not very far. But then I saw this, and when that happened, there was imbalance left behind. So there was imbalance left behind, and I tried to get into the market on a market order. So like literally just straight into the market, no pending order. But I was trying to figure out, like I was trying to measure how far the distance was between there and there. And I was also trying to calculate, I only wanted to risk 0.33% of my account. So I didn't want to put a big risk on this because it was a really, really high risk trade to do. Not high risk, high reward. It was just high risk because it was the first signal for a reversal, okay? And it was a weak signal as well. So I wanted 1/3% of my account. Now, I couldn't calculate it fast enough. So I was there on my calculator trying to figure it out. I had my C trader on that screen, I had TradingView on this screen, and I just figured out, sod it, I'm going to do 5%. And I ended up just doing a market entry. Sorry, 5 pips, market entry. I ended up getting in here. So the market had already moved 1, and I was tagged into the trade. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's doing all right. And I was tagged in, and it only went down to like +2. It went down to like 10 pips in profit. And I just had a feeling looking at all this because I was looking at this area as the first bit to break, which would be, you know, good news. And then there's potentially, you know, a little swing here, but really it needed to break down here for me to be comfortable to either move my stop loss to break even or close out a bit of the position just because it was a funded account. But I don't take partials, so it would be moving my stop loss or scaling in and getting involved with more. So even if price had just passed through here, I'd double. So as soon as price tapped here, I'd be in for 18 lots. But obviously that would move my my break even pretty much down to here. It would move it down a fair bit. So my stop loss would appear bigger. It'd look something like that. But I'd be doubling every percent down that I was going. So I'd be going 2%, 3%, 4%, etc. But anyway, no, it just did really, really poor. And there were multiple times where I was like, I should just close out the trade. Like I've got 10 people watching me do it. Like I was chatting away mostly to myself, but it's like, yeah, okay, good stuff, good stuff. And then it was so obvious right at this point. I was saying to everybody, like in my head, I was just talking out loud, thinking out loud. And it was like, oh, are we still live? Damn, we are. But I was just kind of saying to everybody in my mind anyway, would you forgive me if I just cut the trade? Like, you know, it's like, would you guys think that I've got like no balls if I just cut it halfway? And I knew, like, definitely around here, I was like, oh, I should just close out at half our trade. But I just kept hold of it, got stopped out, and then started looking for a buy, you know, because I wanted to see a body breakout of here on the 15-minute. So the setup from this was I needed to see a break outside of the H4, ideally, at least on the 15-minute, ideally on the H4. Got the breakout. Is there anywhere to get involved? Probably this inside bar. Problem is that when you drop down to the M1, there's another little one just below it. So decided to try and cover that in my trade setup. It's a 6.4 stop loss, so it's relatively big compared to what I like doing. But the next target is miles away, or is it? Sort of, yeah, 76 pips away. So 12-ish R, call it like 11.5 after broker fees and spreads and stuff. But that would be my trade for tomorrow morning. And that's the 15-minute. Like, I'm tempted to leave that. What's the H4 look? Yeah, the H4 looks all right as well. Oh no, Ron Bar. Oh, bloody hell. Right, it looks fine there. How's it look now? well, it's the rebalance. It's the rebalance of the H4, so I would kind of be okay with that. So yeah, high risk again, another high risk trade. If I was wise, I would wait for price to come down into this area. Probably take a trade off of this. So a lower, deeper entry right there. Because that H4, that is a solid order block. It's got imbalance above. It makes sense for price to come down to here. So that bit. And then if it fails that, there's potentially the one below, possibly the one below, but we would get chock on the H4, so I would be bearish at that point. So, I wouldn't be looking to take trades off there. I would have to get chock on my setups, because at the moment we're going bullish H4, which means really you can do tap and go. So enter off the 0.25 or enter off the 0.5, whatever your setup is, or enter off the 0. Just as soon as you tap it for a rebalance, you can get in and go. Like you could wait on the 1 minute, wait for the tap, wait for the first bullish candle to form and go. Do a 3 pip stop or even a 2 pip stop, depending what time of day it is, and then just hold it until the end. That's a quick and easy way to trade. Hope that helps. Yeah, very interesting live. I hope you will do some more. Have a great evening. Yeah, thank you, Val. I appreciate that. Spread. I love the lives. Keep them up. Thank you, Hayden. Yeah, I think I might. I quite like it. Attila, can you upload all the live sessions on YouTube, please? Are you going to make a video on how to scalp? Yeah, I have done. I'm not sure if you're in FTR or not, but I've made them a scalping, I think I have anyway. Yeah, a scalping video. It's essentially the same as this, but you just use the 1 minute within the M15s. Great stuff. Thanks for sharing. Just went live and I'm very new to this. Oh, sweet. Yeah, no worries at all. Yeah, literally no worries at all. Like the main thing as well to figure out with trading is like there is no rush to it. Like I wish in a sense I could be like some of these people who have like absolutely no fear of the markets, the ones who can flip the accounts, turn it into like, turn £1,000 into £100,000 in like a couple of weeks because they're just heavy on the leverage. It's fairly like if I traded with no stop loss and I didn't care about, risking 1%, risking 2%, but I would just, I'm almost tempted to do that. You know what? I'm kind of, yeah, because I know when to trade and what direction the market's going in. So, but the wins won't be spectacular. It won't be like a 1 to 10, 1 to 20 or anything like that. It would just be in, hold it until I'm pretty sure that I need to get out, wait for the next trade, go again. But I can use massive leverage. I'm kind of tempted to try it. I might just put like $1,000 into an account and then just YouTube the whole, not YouTube, live stream the whole thing. That would be quite cool. Yeah, I'd be tempted. I know. Let me know if you think that would be quite cool. Or if you'd want to do that. What does that button mean? Wow. It's been viewed 287 times. How long have I been on? An hour and 15 minutes. Jesus. Yeah, I would definitely try that. I'm really tempted to do it, because yeah, when you think about it, the guy, like, there are a couple of people who I follow on Instagram who I can't tell whether or not they're real or if they're fake. Like, they are the money showing ones, so ones that will show wads of cash. But they do have the lifestyle to back it up, but they're also signal providers. And I'm pretty sure a lot of signal providers, some of them are going to be good, some of them are going to be rubbish. But it depends what type of trading you do. So I could provide signals, but I would have to use probably one of the most boring strategies that I know. And it would be above a 50% win rate, but you'll be trading 1.5 or 1 to 2, so it would be very small percentage gains, but it is above the 50% win rate. So I could provide signals, but these guys are probably making most money from their signal groups because they've got like 20, 30,000 followers just on Instagram. So I know, times that by, well, probably not all of them, or maybe all of them, times that by what, 50 quid a month, 100 quid a month, like whatever. But yeah, I could probably trade, do £1,000 in an account, try and flip it, turn it into 2,000 first, and then turn that 2,000 into 5, and then 5 into 10, 10 into 50. It's what I used to do with my poker accounts. Like, you know, I'm really, really good at poker. So I used to do that with my poker. I think you should, but you gotta watch out for drawdowns, right? Yeah, that's the thing. So if I use the same mentality, which I use for the online poker accounts anyway, I haven't even touched that for a year. I might go back to it actually. So I put, it was something like, it was only small, it was like 15 quid in an online poker account. And I just kept on taking part in like little fun tournaments with friends, turned that 15 into about 50. And then I went on to, I think it was called Zoom poker. So every time you fold, you get moved to another table, and then you fold, you move to another table. But because I know all of the odds almost instantly with poker, and I know how to psychologically trap people in poker, I win most of the hands that I play. So the idea which I had was that the most that I'd be risking on a single table would be half of my actual poker account. So when I sat down with 100 quid total, I'd be, sorry, £100 in my poker account, I'd be risking up to £50 in that session which I'm doing. And I would find, and I still remember this, it was every 45 minutes I would be doubling my account and then moving up to the next barrier and then to the next barrier. So every 45 minutes. So I went £25, so risking 12.5, bringing in another 25, so tripling that table account, moving up again, moving up again, moving up again. So after about 6 hours of live poker playing, I had like 500 quid in my account. And then I did it again, turned it into 1,000, then did it again, turned it into 2,000. But I want to have that type of attitude with my trading. And I have more fear around trading because I'm so risk averse to an extent. And I say I'm risk averse, but actually I'm very, very risky with how I trade. Like earlier on today, I took a trade on the 1 minute with the first signal of a reversal, like really, really high risk. But I was actually only risking 0.3% of my account, so really low risk. Whereas if it was poker, it's easier because you're playing against a human, one human, or maybe up to 10 on a table. But I'd be playing against somebody who I can see generally. And I could risk bigger portions of my account because it was just one hand. And I think to an extent, to become like a mega star with trading, I probably have to have that same sort of approach as I have with poker. I'm tempted. But yeah, really tempted to do it. But it'd be a good shout to be able to do London session, possibly tomorrow. But if I'm to do that, I will have to get some sleep in a second. Yeah. Well, it's been almost 2 hours, so doubt anyone would ever sit and watch this for 2 hours. Maybe if it's live, potentially, but don't think anyone will actually want to sit and watch a 2 hour live recorded. Although maybe, I don't know, the guys in the group do, which is really good. Like, they want to learn. I'm just going to see what some of these things do. I don't know what chat rate means. Wow, nearly 300 views on a live. You know what? I haven't done any of what it actually says. I haven't done any chart markups. I'm just going to mark up my charts for tomorrow, and then I'll jump off. I'm going to do it in YouTube one. Ignore that because I don't need it. So we have entered the daily, which is cool. So yeah, this is just so you guys are aware, I'm just basically marking up my charts ready for tomorrow, and it's as fast as this. Like, gonna have to do that. I don't have this on my live chart, that one. H4, let's just shrink that because we're there already. That's it. That's how long it takes to mark up the chart. Then I'd set an alert there. Hang on, that's on the 4 hour. Do that on the 15. There's one alert. That. That's the M15 that I'm interested in. Probably to cover that one as well. Fairly decent sized area. But yeah, one game changer which altered my losing streak, which happened in June and July, because it spanned about 6 weeks, was I was just missing so many trades, being out and about. Phone hardly goes off, or it goes off, but it's quite often on silent, or it's on vibrate and I don't feel it vibrate. And I used to have one, but I lost it, so I just went out and bought another. It's not even great, it's just a Fitbit. It's like a smartwatch. And the only alerts I get on this are TradingView alerts. So I don't use it for anything else, apart from my heart rate, which, you know, is really bad. But my heart rate and TradingView alerts. Oh, and CTrader alerts. So that's it. Like, I will feel that vibrate on my wrist. So I can now use alerts again, which is really good. Therefore, when an alert goes off, I know that I need to check my phone usually every 15 minutes to 45 minutes until an entry either enters or doesn't. So just a little tip for everybody, but I'd recommend getting something like that. London sessions are usually high risks, right? London sessions, sorry Leslie, I've just seen the chat. I haven't looked at it for a while. London sessions are high risk. Yeah, if you don't know what you're looking for. Personally, I've drawn the most money out of the market during London session, usually about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, UK time. So that's either where the London breakout's going to work or it's going to fail. And if it fails, you just do the opposite. So it's really easy to trade. So that's the London breakout in a nutshell. Just do it on a 15-minute. Yeah, at the same time, if you combine it with like liquidity elements and supply and demand, and then you carry it to the next zone on the higher time frame, you're going to bank more than what I used to during the London breakout session. This happened last night when I was doing a live call. There's a bloody noise out the back and it freaked me out. Yeah, where is it? A lot of people stream their day trading now on YouTube. It's sort of the trend. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I might check out some channels. I tried to find one earlier, but I couldn't really figure out what they were doing. It's like I could kind of figure out their strategy. Like, I'm not. That's one thing as well, though. Like, once you figure out how to trade and you become profitable yourself, like, personally, like, I just lost the interest in trading, and I cannot listen to any podcasts. I can't listen to trading books. Can't watch YouTube videos on it. Just my whole life is nothing to do with trading. I've got the trading group, which I love. I love doing the chart markups, and I love doing like the chatting with people and teaching people how to do it. But you know, and actually doing the trading is fine, but I just can't consume bullshit. And that's what most of it is. I did listen to a podcast recently though. And it was actually really good. And I recognized the lad's voice who does it. I'm going to try and find it. It's on my Spotify playlist. But he had like a really nice voice, and I thought, oh, okay, cool, I could listen to him. But he interviewed a guy, and I swear to God, this guy is not a trader, but he runs a trading group. Words of wisdom, Rizzler. Words of wisdom. He interviewed this guy, and I went and found it. So I went and found it on YouTube. And this chap, I swear to God, right, okay, so I wear glasses, like, no one's ever seen me wear glasses, but I wear glasses when I'm in private. But when I used to play poker, I was semi-pro. I was at the point where I could probably go professional and do it for a living. So I was the guy, not the guy, but one of the very few guys, where I'd be given money to go to a casino. So a pool of people would get together, give me money to buy into the higher stake tournament, because I would always place, usually on the final table, usually top 3 or top 4. So I'd come home with the money. But in poker, or in a courtroom, how can you, like, okay, I'm going to try and think how to word this. I'm not wearing glasses. You can see into my eyes. I'm now wearing sunglasses indoors like an idiot. You can't. It's harder to see when somebody's telling the truth if they're wearing sunglasses. And this chap was wearing sunglasses indoors while getting interviewed for a podcast. And I thought, there's one thing, like, you could be trying to look cool, but I liked the interviewer. He was asking the right stuff, but I didn't like the answers from the guy wearing the sunglasses. Maybe they were reading glasses, but I doubt it. These are reading glasses, by the way, like, to help me see, because especially at night, my left eye is so fucked. There we go, now I can see the screen. But I can never get anything to fit my face. I look not cool. That's why I don't wear glasses. I do actually have some just glasses around somewhere, but I think I've lost them again. I look forward to the days when I can quickly and easily mark up charts and trade price action from alerts. Yeah, honestly, like, it won't be far away. Just with my YouTube videos, probably the 3 most recent ones are okay. They help you with understanding the direction using boss and chock on a higher time frame. But the best way to trade, honestly, I think is zone to zone. I call it zone to zone. It's basically supply and demand, but look for the higher time frames. Price normally reacts from them. So, you know, this is a higher time frame zone. Price is probably going to react and do its little dance, whatever it's going to do. If it breaks out upwards, it will come down to an order block, probably react from it and go on to the next one. If it doesn't do that, it will come back. It will create chock within or just outside of it. Then it should come back, react from the order block that's just created, and go down to the next zone. That's it. Like, that's literally it. Just make sure that you're looking for those reversal patterns on a lower time frame, so you can shrink your stop loss and get a bigger risk reward ratio. And before long, you'll be marking up charts within seconds, kind of like what I did there. I added 2 or 3 more points of interest than what I normally would. I normally just mark 1 above, 1 below, and see if there's anything on a lower time frame in between, set my order and go to sleep. Problem is that once you do start earning enough to make a living, or just more than making a living from your trading, like, you need to have something bigger to do in your life, like basically help out with charities, help poor people, help vulnerable people. Like, I try to give a lot of my time away try to give, well, I do give a lot of my money away. Don't know, I'm a Freemason, I give a lot of money through that. You've got to have other stuff to do. I'm a business coach, so, well, not coach, I'm a business consultant, so even though I don't have to do it, I just enjoy going into people's businesses. I don't charge them to do it. I go in and try and help make changes so they don't have to cut staff. They can make efficiencies in their businesses and hire more staff. Like, you need to have something else to do. Like, I had a comment on YouTube recently, and there was this little dipshit. I think I just booted him from the channel. But he just said, like, if you're so rich from trading, like, one, that was an assumption, but it's like, if you're so rich from trading, you should be like X, Y, and Z. And it's like, the millionaires I know are doing cool shit. And I was like, you don't know what I do. Like, you don't know what I do. You don't know my wealth. And the millionaires I know, because I'm amongst a lot of them, also do what I do. So, you know, they do the boring shit. If you do cool shit as a millionaire, you don't give any of it away. You don't give anything back. You're just an asshole. Like, you know, basically, probably in my circle, 20 or 30 people, over half are millionaires. And that's not a brag. Like, £1 million isn't much these days. So, but we all do stuff for charity. We all do something outside of work. We all do something outside of our profession, and a lot of it is charitable. So, like, money just accentuates the person that you are. So if you have no money, it just accentuates the person that you are. If you're already a prick and you get rich, you're just going to be a rich prick. If you are a prick and you get poor, you're just going to be a poor prick. Like, but if you're a nice person and you get rich, you're going to be a nice rich person. If you're a nice person and you're poor, you're going to be a nice poor person. But try not to compare yourself to too many people. But that kid triggered me because I thought he's just like a little 18-year-old sat at home in his mum's basement, like, or attic, just wanking away at his screen. Yeah, I can see how that would be, since it just becomes pointless since you've already got an edge that suits your lifestyle. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, going back about a year ago, like, I was probably at the point where I was considering, do I continue trading with anything? Like, I could trade. Do I want to just keep it to myself? Do I actually want to open up FTR? Like, I only made that like a year ago, and it was just going to be a closed group. I was thinking, do I want to do that? Do I operate it like a business? Do I want to run YouTube anymore? Do I want to do anything like that? Because whenever you create something, even if you're trying to give stuff away for free, you're always going to get criticized and stuff. And some of it, like, I don't mind, but other bits, I think, like, well, these guys don't know what they're talking about anyway, so it's all right. But when I realized that I didn't have to work anymore, like I do occasionally, but I don't really have to work a job. And the problem is that unless you have something bigger, like a bigger purpose than yourself, you are going to be really sad. And I just got really, like, I won't say depressed because I wasn't depressed, but it was really anticlimactic. It's like, oh God, like, the purpose for me getting involved in trading originally was I had about 20 grand, it was 17,000, about 20,000 saved up. I'd never paid into a pension. I still don't believe in pensions. I think they're a waste of time. You know, you're never gonna retire comfortable unless you've got properties backing you up and stuff like that, and good investments. So I wanted to, one, it was a bit of peer pressure. It was like, oh, maybe I should just pay this 20 grand into a pension and just start it now. And I looked at the returns, and they were like 5%, 6%, 7% a year. And I thought, damn, somebody is making a profit on top of that. So maybe I could do like maybe 10% a year by myself if I just learn how to trade it. Blew that in, well, gradually over the period of about a year, but about 5 of it went within 2 or 3 months, probably the first month, to be fair. And I gradually got into trading. But once you get to that point where you're outdoing what your pension would do, and you're outdoing what you used to do at work, like, you know, my monthly at work was about 3 grand. Once you start doing that in a month for yourself, you're like, wow, oh my God. And then the following month you can do like another 30% more than that. And then the following month you're doing like 50% more than that. And then the following month, and so on and so forth. Like, what was it the other week, 3 weeks ago? I risked 233 or 231 or something like that. £228, that was it, on a trade. And I made, I want to say it was over 5 grand. It got to almost 6. So, you know, and that was holding the trade for like maybe 6 hours. And how often, like, you might ask, how often do they come about? Once a week, something like that. And I just got in on it. So the next day as well, I think it was the next day, maybe the next hour, there was another one. It did really well, but I held on to it for too long. So it went up again to like maybe 2 grand, 2 or 3 grand, and I punched out for about 1,000. So when you're making your previous monthly take home in less than a day, but you don't have anything to do with your time, you might as well be poor and go to work. So, yeah. Do you ever attempt a prop firm challenge, or do you just always went with your own funding? So I've always typically gone with my own funding. I sometimes do challenges. I'll fail challenges as well. I've passed 3. I've failed 4. I've been funded once. I fucked up the verification. So I'll go through the challenge, failed the verification, went through a challenge, got verified, got the account, didn't get the payout because I broke the rules. Failed the next one. I think I failed 2 or 3 in a row. And that's like, the annoying thing is that whenever I've logged and journaled those trades, when I was doing the challenges, like, I break the rules of what I tell everybody to do. Like, I still do the strategy, but I break the rules on take profit. So I said right at the very start of this stream, it might have been on the stream with FTR, but I'll say it on here anyway. Like, I make the very human mistake, I think, well, maybe that's an excuse, but I make the mistake of, you only need about 10%, like 10R on your first trade on a prop firm account. Because if you're risking 1% and your target's 10%, you're going for 10R, and you can get that out of the market every day, usually. But quite often your setup will be 1 to 5. Now, I'll either drop down to the 1 minute, which is not required. You don't need to drop down to the 1 minute. You can do it on the 15 minute. But I'll drop down to the 1 minute and take a risky trade like what I did earlier. It didn't need to do it, because if I stayed on the 15 minute, I wouldn't have been at -1. So there's one rule that I'd be sort of half breaking myself. I know how to trade the 1 minute really, really well. So I'm not upset by that. But, you know, there's one sort of thing which I put myself under a little bit too much pressure, because I tried to hit the target too fast. And then also, if the trade is 1 to 6, so it will get me back 6% if I win, and I should be taking profit at 6%, I keep the trade on and extend it to 10, and it will sometimes go to like 8% and come back and hit me for -1, because I'll go out and I'll go do something else, and I'll come back, look at my phone, and it's like, oh crap, stop loss hit. So self-sabotage all the time. But if I stick strictly to the rules, I could smash through a prop firm account once a week quite comfortably. But that's me. That's mistakes that I'm making. But the strategy is solid. It's got to be one of the best strategies on the internet, which is why it's going to be a very, very provocative title. It's going to get a lot of backlash, but I can prove it. Like, you know, there's not many people who can prove that their strategy is rock solid. I haven't found one better. What would you suggest traders do after getting profitable for the long run? So after getting profitable, like, do you mean with that, if you're still watching, Joshua, sorry, do you mean within trading, after getting profitable on a prop firm, or do you mean like in general life? And Leslie, I need to learn how you do that. And then Leslie, it's just holding a trade for so long on a small capital, you'd need extra confidence in that trade and setup. Yeah, like the more backtesting that you do, like, I don't know, I'll try and think of something really easy for you to backtest, just so you got something to backtest. Use a indicator. Like the indicators that I use are usually the inside bar, because sometimes I find it quite hard to spot them, but I use an inside bar. That's why I've got like these little orange ones on the screen. Usually they're pink. I don't know why they've gone orange. Anyway, I use an inside bar indicator to help me spot them, because I will sometimes use the inside bar. Actually, I do use the inside bar. It's just in certain places I use them. But you could use an indicator like a moving average. Let's say an EMA. Let's use a triple EMA. That sounds hardcore. And that's what the Tema. Oh, okay. Whatever. Is that showing us it? It is. Let's use a length of what time frame we're looking at. Let's use an EMA of 16. So an EMA of 16, which is the average of the 4 hour, when looking at the 15-minute. Every time price crosses and closes above, like for example, when you're in an uptrend already, so you know that looks like the market's going up, you might want to do it after you've had 2 candles break and close. So after, well, that's a downtrend, uptrend pretty much starts here. Get involved there, like on this one. Try and set yourself a rule out and say, right, okay, when we cross up and above and it's 2 candles in a row, I'm just going to buy, and I'm going to do 1 to 2. So, you know, your back test would be like, oh my days, that's huge. Oops, that was my alert. Oh shit, I've moved my alert. Oh well. So anyway, let's just, I can put the alert back on here in a minute, that's fine. Okay, we'll try and do a 1 to 2. There you go, you'd hit profit on that one. But then you do it again. So you can multiply this, but just use your, I don't know, I'm just making this up as I go along. So, you know, do it on the very next one, because that was also a white candle, and then do it 1 to 2 based on the previous 2 candles. So that'll be there. And this would be basically, you'd be scaling into your positions. Like this is one of the ways how to trade essentially, but not using the EMA. There's that's not 2 in a row, is it? That would be 2 in a row. Stop loss goes there. Can you do 1 to 2 with that one? Does it reach it? Yay. This isn't looking like a bad strategy at the moment while we're trending, until we get to something like this. But yeah, you could just do that, and just record your data, like literally just record it. And then you can figure out, like, maybe you want to do this on the 4 hour, or maybe the daily, because it fits your time schedule. Like I used to trade the daily. I used to trade at 10 o'clock until about 20 past 10. I would use stop orders to trade that strategy. That was 66% win rate, 67. It was a very high win rate, and it'd be like 1 to 3 minimum, usually 1 to 6. But I'd be in a trade for any time between 2 days. Well, the fastest was like 1 day, but usually between 2 days and about 3 weeks. Very boring way to trade, but I grew my account. It was fine. But trading, the problem, and I went through this as well, it's just an evolution of mindset, I guess, an evolution of ability. Trading used to be almost everything in my life. It was like everything based around trading. But you got to have something else in your life. You got to have something, a bigger purpose. My bigger purpose came along when I had a child. Like, here's my reason for being alive. So, you know, it's a love to live for. You know, it's a completely different type of feeling that you have when you have your own kid. So he is my source of joy. Trading isn't. Trading's just what I do for a living. But once you get past that level of comfort, like financial comfort, like there's a reason why a lot of millionaires get depressed. Like there's a reason why a lot of people who win the lottery get depressed and do sorts of things, you know, but those reasons are not necessarily financial literacy, because everyone knows don't spend more than what your cash flow is. Everyone knows that. But it's when your life purpose before that point is to go out to work, to make money, to be able to live. Once you get to the point where you don't really have to do the hard work that you used to have to do, and you can do it in a fraction of the time, and now you've got all this spare time, what do you do with that spare time? Because once you go out and buy everything, it's boring. Like, I don't need much to live, you know. I'll drive Lamborghinis, I don't need to buy one. I'll fly nice planes, I don't need to buy one. I couldn't afford either of those at the moment, to be fair. But, you know, there's ways to enjoy life. It's just holding a trade for long enough. Yeah, I'm here. And general life, yeah, so the general life stuff, like literally just have a bigger purpose. Like I've joined a few, I'm gonna sound like a proper loser when I say this. I've joined like a few clubs outside. So I mentioned, like, I'm a Freemason. It's really good. It's really, really good. It's not all like voodoo-y, like the kind of crap that you watch online. It's nothing like that at all. But it's really, really good for like your psyche, for making friends. I've got friends all over the world. I'll be welcomed anywhere in the world by any other Freemasons. You give a lot of time, effort, and whatever you can to charity, and that's optional. It's not like you don't have to do it. You do it if you want to, but you're all just generally good people. You have to fit a criteria to join anyway, but it's like, it's a good thing to do. From that, there's multiple branches that you can go off into as well. So I'm exploring that at the moment. There's a lot of learning to do. I love learning. So, you know, you got to listen. Well, I listen to a lot of self-help books. You can get fit, but the problem is, like, if you go to the gym like an hour a day, like probably a bit excessive. You just got to come up with things to enjoy your time and get used to doing nothing for a period of time as well. Like, I've got, you know, I've got family. I can't just jump on a plane and go to Dubai. Like, I'd like to, but I can't, because I've got ties to where I live, so I can't just go. I could, like, there's nothing really holding me back, but I'd miss my son, you know. So yeah, what else? Things that I try to do, because I've got FTR, the trading group. I like to arrange the meetups. Like, we've only done one so far. There's meant to have been about 5 or 6, but we've only done one. But I'd like to do them almost every weekend, because one is getting out and meeting people. Two, it's sort of, they get to, we can't live trade because it's the weekend, but we can do backtesting together. We can go through anything and everything on the strategy. We can go through ups and downs in life, but above all, we're making friends with each other. Like, you know, I'm just a normal guy. Like, you know, the majority of YouTubers and traders, like Mr. Beast, he's cool, but he's just a normal guy. Like, he's just a normal guy, you know. But it is nice to make friends and meet face to face with people who you've spoken to online. So whenever I do trader meetups, like, even though I don't really have that much of a big presence online, I'm gonna start doing it. So we'll normally, like, we'll go off into a room, which I've hired, like a private hire room, where we'll do charting for 4 or 5 hours, and then we'll go out for a meal and drinks, and we'll just drink all night, or go out and party or whatever. But that bit, I'll just open up to anybody, any trader who wants to come out and meet any of us. more than welcome. Like, I pay for all the drinks. Like, I don't want any of these guys to be putting their hands in their pockets. If they decide to stay, they'll cover their own hotel and stuff, but I'll pay for all the food and drink. It's no problem. There are only 4 or 5 of us last time, but it was really cool. Like, we just had a really good group. Next time then, well, the first time there was going to be like 15, but I had to cancel it. I screwed up the dates myself, got it wrong. Then the second time was almost like last minute, so there were about 5 of us went. I think if we go over to Dublin, there'll probably be about 5 or 10 people. But Amsterdam, there's a decent following over there if they want to come. It should be cool. But yeah, any of you guys would be welcome to any of these events. It'll be awesome. But I post them in FTR. I'll figure out how to do more on YouTube or Instagram, so I can post stuff on there. What time is it? Shit, it's 12:30. I'm gonna have to log off because I am getting sleepy naturally without sleeping tablets as well. But anyway, guys, anyone who's been sat watching this for however long, I haven't done too much on the charts. I'll probably try and be a bit more constructive with what I do at the time, but it's been nice chatting, without a doubt. Gonna get a drink and go to bed. But yeah, thank you for your time, and yeah, I'll leave this on. I'll see if I get any warnings by YouTube. When I wake up in the morning, I should have some warnings if there's anything wrong. I think it should be alright though. But thank you all for coming, and I'm gonna log off now. But if you guys want to join FTR, just join in. It's cool. There's no like tie-in period or anything like that. I do charge for it though, and I'll probably just mention why. The reason for charging is that, and I know this anyway from being in education for so long, if it's free, no one will pay attention to it. Simple as that. It's a psychological thing. If you pay for your education, it's why like when you go to uni, it was like 10 grand a year. Like, of course you're going to bloody learn it. You know, but if it was 10 grand a year and I just went to the pub all the time, it's stupid. You know, if it was free, I'd be in the pub all the time. So, well, I wouldn't, like I don't really go to the pub that much, but you know, it's only a small amount, but it's not like a professional training course or anything like that. But I am trying to make it like that at some point because I just want more people to learn. Could you do I'm really tempted to do that because I've never done it. I want to try and flip an account. So I'll probably set up a new account. It'd be like $1,000 or something. We might take it to 0. We might take it to 10 grand. I think I've seen a few people try that, like, you know, 500 to $1 million or 1,000 to $1 million or 100 to $1 million. And they get about 3 episodes in and they disappear off YouTube. But yeah, I'll probably do that. Bloody hell, this green light is making my teeth look green. Bloody hell. It's like bad lighting in here. I've got literally like this green fluorescent light looking at me, so sorry about the color being a bit weird. But yeah, I'll do live trading. Yeah, I've got no problem with that. Like tomorrow morning, if there's any trade set up, if I come online, which hopefully I do, you might see me enter live. But I won't. I will have it on TradingView, but I will have my actual live broker chart on the other screen because obviously the account number, and empty my personal bank account as well. I don't want that because you're only insured up to 85 grand. So yeah, hence why I did get paid back the first time, which was like 5 years ago, but wouldn't risk it anymore. But at least you'll be able to see when we're trying to get involved because you can all jump in if you want. But quick disclaimer, just because I do it doesn't mean you should do it, and don't expect to win every time because my win rate is like 30%. So well, it's less than that at the moment. Yeah, literally like right at the moment. So don't expect to win every time I get involved, but at least you'll see honest trading because it is difficult. Like on Instagram, like it's my personal Instagram account, which I use. You know, it's not a business account and it's not like an FTR trading account, but occasionally I'll show my trades, but it's because over half the followers on there are my friends. Like I've met them, and I'd post half it personal stuff, fraction of it trading stuff, and sometimes I'll go a couple of months without posting anything. But I'm kind of tempted to make an account which is just losses, so no wins, all losses, and make like a fresh account and just everything as losses, almost like a piss take account, because some people will only show wins. Like I'll show my losses sometimes, but some people will only show wins. But yeah, I'm tempted to do only losses because that would be funny. It would be like a middle finger to the industry, which is what FTR is. I don't know what the policy is for swearing, but it stands for F the rest. Is your RR similar to? Yeah, my RR, like risk reward ratio, minimum trade that I'll do is 4R. Quite often it's about 8 or 10. So, if it's 4R, I know that is pretty much like a break-even trade if I do 10 of them in a row. But, when it's 8R, it's always worth doing. Sorry, I am falling asleep. I started this way too late, so I do apologise. But yeah, hopefully London session tomorrow. If not, I should be on Thursday. So that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I'm busy all day on Wednesday and then busy all day on Friday. So out at I think I'm recording a podcast on Thursday night, possibly. And then business day on Friday. Wednesday, spending it with my son. Tomorrow afternoon with my son, and Thursday afternoon with my son. So yeah, I'll try and be on tomorrow morning. If not, I'll be Thursday morning. I'll try and come on tomorrow morning. But anyway, I'll catch you guys pretty soon. Thank you for everyone who's joined. It's been good fun. And yeah, I'll catch you soon, all right? See you later.